Today on Bad Beyond, I'm going to show you how to upgrade your stock horn to these sharp tones by Hella without damaging your factory wiring. Let's do it. Our horns don't come with a wiring kit, so we're going to have to piece one together ourselves, and if you don't want to modify your factory wiring, you're going to need some things like a soldering iron, wire, solder, some spade connectors, heat shrink, cutting tools and stripping tools, electrical tape. This makes everything look really factory. Something to melt the heat shrink. You don't need a big torch. You can use a regular lighter. And your horns. Whenever you wire in something aftermarket that's electrical, you're going to have to make sure that you don't exceed the load capacity of your circuit. Our horn circuit is rated for 15 amps, and our horns use 42 watts each. Basic electronics will tell you that's about 3.5 amps each, or 7 amps in total. Less than 15, so we're good to go. If your car's horn circuit isn't rated high enough for your horns, you're going to have to use the included relay and wire your existing circuits as a trigger for a new circuit you make that's also fused for your own safety. If you don't know what you're doing with electronics, it's probably a wise idea to learn a few things before tackling this project.
First, we have to pry the connector off of the old horn so we can solder wires to it later. This will allow us to plug right into the factory horn plug without modifying our factory wiring. Cut a length of wire to size, then strip and twist the ends so we can tin them. Tin the ends of all wires and put a piece of heat shrink on right away before you forget to do it later. Now it's time to solder our spade connectors onto our length of wire. Repeat for the other terminal. Tin the factory connector so it's easy to solder wires to it. This has more mass, so it'll take a little bit longer to stick compared to a wire. Then, solder the other end of the length of wire to the factory connector. Be careful not to burn yourself with your hand so close to the iron. Shrink the heat shrink and wrap in electrical tape for a factory durable finish. Repeat everything for the other horn.
So when you finish your wiring harnesses, you can hook them up with those flat tabs, and you'll get your harnesses looking something like this. These are going on our 330 behind us. Now these horns are significantly larger than the old ones, so they can't really fit in the same spot, and because they're more directional, they wouldn't be ideal in the same spot either. So we're going to mount them right here behind the kidney grill, and that should make anyone in front of us aware of where we are. And then we can just run the wire that we made. Make sure you make your wires long enough so that way they can reach down to the stock location, and we can run it down, plug it in, and then we can do a test. It's time to wire up our horns with the wiring harness we made earlier. Now, it's easier to start by putting the wires in first before the horn is in place. And there's a nice little hole right here on this side I'm going to just take advantage of. Obviously, there's no headlight here because that makes it way harder than it has to be. You can actually get to the old horn through here. You don't have to pull the bumper off. And I'm just going to route this wire around and approximately where the old horn was, so it reaches the connector. And then I'll use these flat tabs and hook up our new horns. If you don't have the little plastic covers on your spade terminals, it's a good idea to cover the positive one with electrical tape. Then we can just mount it on the stud. I'm just going to thread the lock nut on for now, and then I'll grab my socket and tighten it fully. I have it hanging down here until it gets like towards the end, and then I'll bring it up, but right now it's just easier to work like this. If you haven't tested it by now, it's a good idea to, before you tighten it, to plug it in and test it. It's loud, so just be prepared.
Tighten the nut down, then rotate the horn into position and tighten fully. Plug the wiring harness we made into the factory connector and tuck it away into the stock location. Use zip ties if needed. After you finish one, repeat on the other side. Now you're ready to alert every motorist in a mile radius to your displeasure at the person in front of you. Just listen to the sound this horn makes. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram or Twitter to see what's in the pipe for upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.